Good afternoon. This is Randy Osborne with Florida Eagle Forum, and we want to go through the constitutional amendments for 2020. So basically, it's the 2020 constitutional amendments. See, each election cycle in the state of Florida, organizations or even the legislature are able to place on the ballot constitutional amendments that usually will enshrine the amendment into the Florida Constitution. It takes 60% plus one vote for something to get passed as a constitutional amendment. This year, for 2020, there are a total of 6 constitutional amendments that will be on the ballot on November the 3rd. And I want to go through each of those amendments briefly with you and tell you the position that Florida Eagle Forum is holding on each of these amendments. First of all, Amendment 1. Amendment 1 consists of citizens' a requirement to vote in Florida elections. Now, Florida Eagle Forum takes a position of a yes on this particular amendment. It basically provides that only United States citizens who are at least 18 years of age, a permanent resident of Florida, and are registered to vote as provided by law shall be qualified to vote in the Florida election. Again, Florida Eagle Forum, that is a yes vote for us. That's the position we take on Amendment 1. Then Amendment 2 is basically raising Florida's minimum wage. Florida Eagle Forum takes a position of no on this particular amendment. And basically what this amendment does is it raises the minimum wage to $10 per hour effective September 30th of 2021. And then each September 30th thereafter, the minimum wage will raise $1 until the minimum wage reaches $15 per hour on September 30th of 2026. And then from that point on, the future minimum wage increases will be based on adjustment annual inflation starting September of 2027. Here's a problem that we see with this. Anytime that there's a mandatory minimum wage increase, historically, it harms small businesses and it also causes inflation. For example, a gallon of milk, it may cost $3.30 a gallon. If minimum wage increases, it's going to force the cost of everything to increase. So we have a no position on this because it does not help. It does not help the worker whatsoever because it forces inflation. Amendment 3. Amendment 3 is all voters in a primary election for the state legislature, governor, cabinet, all of those, everybody, all voters vote for. Florida Eagle Forum has a position of no on this as well, and I'm going to kind of explain what this initiative is. Official ballot summary says this: it allows all registered voters to vote in primaries for state legislature, governor, and cabinet positions regardless of the political party affiliation. All candidates of an office, including party-nominated candidates, appear on the same primary ballot. 2 highest vote getters advance to a general election. If only 2 candidates qualify, there would be no primary, and no primaries held. It would be determined in the general election. Candidates' party affiliation may appear on the ballot as provided by law, and this would be effective on January 2024. If this passes, the political party would no longer be able to choose their candidates. And this is why we're opposed to that. It would completely diminish the two-party system. Then Amendment 4. Amendment 4 is approval of constitutional amendments, and it basically explains the way that a constitutional amendment gets put on a ballot and it gets passed and becomes an amendment to the Constitution. Florida Eagle Forum has a yes vote on this particular amendment, and basically it requires all proposed amendments or revisions to the state constitution to be approved by the voters in 2 elections instead of 1, which we currently have. The proposal applies to the current threshold, which is 60% of the vote for passage in each of the two elections. So basically, instead of having the ballot on one election cycle, it would actually be required to have it on two, and both of those must meet the 60% threshold. Amendments on the Florida Constitution are such a permanent event that we believe that it should be difficult to get an amendment passed and put on the Constitution. And quite frankly, we elect our representatives, a representative form of our government. Our representatives are basically the responsibility to pass legislation, not on these constitutional amendment and votes. Then Amendment 5, it's a limitation on homestead assessments. Florida Eagle Forum has a yes vote on this. This was actually sponsored by the Florida legislature. And basically what it would do is propose an amendment to the state constitution effective on January 1st of 2021, that it would increase from 2 years to 3 years the period of time during which accrued Save Our House benefits may be transferred from a prior homestead to a new homestead. So basically it would change it from 2 years to actually 3 years, the ability to transfer those homestead exemptions. And then on Amendment 6, it's an Advertium tax discount for spouses of certain deceased veterans who have permanent combat-related disabilities. Also, Eagle Forum has a yes on this as well, a yes vote. This was also sponsored by the Florida legislature. It basically would provide that the homestead property tax discount for certain veterans with permanent combat-related disabilities carries over to such veterans, to their veterans' surviving spouses who holds legal or beneficial title to and who permanently resides on that homestead property until he or she would remarry or sells or otherwise disposes of the property. The discount may be transferred to a new homestead property of the surviving spouse under certain conditions. And again, now Eagle Forum has a yes vote on this one. This would actually take effect if it was to pass on January of 2021. If you all have any other questions, we will actually post these amendments. We will post the positions on these amendments on various sites. If you have any other questions, you can actually make those questions known, and we will respond to them as soon as possible. I hope you all have a great day. God bless. This is Randy Osborne.